Good evening, welcome to the DONNYCHAINGANG with me, Matt Payne, here live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel, and welcome if you're joining us after having ridden, because I know plenty of you get the ride done and then settle down to watch what happened, perhaps where you weren't out on the ride. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for all the feedback that's been coming in over the last few weeks about the ride, about how we control it, and last week and the ride, we did pull the coverage from the front riders, quite simply because people weren't playing the game. It's really simple. Russ and I set this up to help everybody, not just those that are able to smash people to pieces, and that means that we want to keep the group together, held together, and then when the go goes, that's the signal to race. Up till that point, aim is to look after everybody, to get everybody going quicker and quicker and quicker. And when we set it up in COVID lockdown number one, long time ago, that was the intention, to give somebody, give people something to look forward to give riders a chance to ride with pros. We've got people like one of the Mazzoni brothers on tonight. I think we'll check with Russ in a minute. We've got lots of people taking part, and it's all about that community spirit, and it's worked. We've got a fantastic community. I want to say thank you very much to everybody who's involved in that, particularly on the Facebook page. If you've not been on there, make sure you join the Facebook group. You might not like Facebook, but I guarantee you'll have some fun on that page and watch the banter, the advice. There's loads of tech advice, lots of community as well. So make sure that you're all going on there and join the group. Now, the man who we got this all started with was, of course, Russ Downing, and Russ, I'm hoping, is all ready to answer the phone, and I'm sure he's just about to jump off the bike and get ready to pick up the phone. I wonder whether he's got one of these old-fashioned ones that you wind up, and you never know. We shall soon see. So let's get hold of Russ, and let's see if he is going to be on the end of the phone line. Always a bonus. So let's get on Russ. And let's see. So looks like we have Russ. Now then, up.
Just turned you down on one platform. I'm not listening to you twice, mate. No chance.
We spent enough time talking over the last few days or so, that's for sure. I'll tell you something, rumours start for less than that.
Yeah, especially, no Christmas parties, so there's got to be some chit-chat going on there.
I know, and it's quite amazing how close we are, because we've got the next 3 rides, including this one, up, which takes us right into Christmas. So, going to be plenty going on, and a few specials over the Christmas period as well. So, let's see what people make of it. And I got called a lightweight on the Facebook page. It was the best compliment I've had for ages.
Yeah, I don't think it was weight related, Matt. I think it was just, probably just thinking we're here 24/7 for the chain gang, really. But
it feels like it. Definitely need a break. I'll definitely need a break. I needed a break after going out with Chris Esseltine, James on the mountain bike in the pines in the pouring rain. I think the sensible people were on Zwift that day. That is for sure. But we've got big numbers coming and joining us tonight, I understand.
Yeah, it's anything under 200 now. It's not even worth turning up, is it? But now joking apart, it's everyone's loving it. These we've done this course a couple of times. It's just steady away rolling until we hit the KOM and then up to the top, and hopefully it'll be a good little rip at the end and nothing before it, so we can keep people controlled and happy.
That's it, and everybody gets to improve, which is the idea, and everybody gets dropped at some point, and that's usually on the last climb when the go is gone. That's the point when it all goes mad. It's going to be really good to see. And who we got on the ride tonight? I think we got at least 1 or 2 pros rejoining us again.
Yeah, so it's not logged on and checked through the list, but I saw a message from Liam Mazzoni earlier. Why don't I find the links? It's like, come on, mate, where have you been for the last few months?
He's been on before.
He does live on the Isle of Man, doesn't he? So it's not much happening over there. So.
No, I'm sure they've got the internet though. That would be very entertaining if they hadn't. I'm sure they certainly have. And I think I've seen Josh Edmondson joining us again. Good to see Josh. He's becoming a real regular.
Yeah, he's been loving it, and actually at the pointy end, Josh was when he was a pro, he could go uphill well, so I think he'll be yeah, probably been resting up for this to give it a proper hit out on the Volcano, but not sure if Dean Watson's on here tonight, but he's some greedy boy. He just keeps knocking everyone on the line, and
he's so quick, isn't he?
Yeah, but we'll let him have it.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if he's got the power to do it tonight, and be interested to see whether Gareth Mason can get there. In his words, when will the lightweight riders come past him? Well, it's going to be interesting to see where that happens, because he's been getting quicker and quicker at getting up those hills.
Yeah, he was messaging with us. Oh, I don't feel great and that, but he's still there at the pointy end, and yeah, I say he really enjoys it, and it's great. Someone as big as him with so much power, you can see. It is definitely suited to him under sort of 3, 4, 5%, but he can dig deep, and he does push out some numbers, and if we can stretch him before that, then we might get rid of the fat cyclist or the fat sprinter.
Hopefully so. Well, I'm going to let you head off, because we've got a bit of explaining to do on the course today with the overlaying layers of the Volcano. So good luck. Hopefully it's going to be a nice, quiet, smooth evening, mate.
Yeah, it always catches me out. You sort of double back on yourself, don't you, and go up and round and that. But yeah, all they need to know is stay cool until we say the old go, 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 and then they can do as they wish. Yeah,
first to the top's the winner. Or not that we have a winner in a non-race, but you know what I mean. Good stuff, mate. We'll see you in a little bit. Cheers, Russ.
See you on the road.
So great to hear from Russ. And you can see our riders are warming up. You can see we've also got the map up and running super fast. So let's just leave the riders for the moment and pull you up two important diagrams that you've got to get in your head. And we said this is really, really tricky. And it certainly is. And that is because the maps overlay. Because we go in and through the Volcano, it means that things are a little bit more difficult when you are looking at it on the map view, particularly when you're looking at the map on the top right hand side of the screen. Now, riders start off by doing 2 laps, the equivalent of the Volcano flat circuit. That means that they come out of the pens, out the plaza, and head out and around the Volcano flat circuit. Then they run onto the top of the Volcano to finish. And they do that by doing almost 3/4 of a lap. And it does mean that we have essentially 2 full laps plus 3/4 lap plus the climb to the top. But the Volcano overlays itself because of the multiple tunnels through the lava. And that makes things interesting. In terms of gradient, well, you can see on the left hand side of your screen we have the fantastic Velo Viewer diagram. This shows us exactly where we're heading. We're going out and around, and it is super flat out there all the way around. You can see it going underneath the tunnels. That's a really thin piece of ribbon, and we then zigzag our way up through Italian villas before coming across towards the Volcano, along the flat, bumping up around the side of the Volcano, through the Volcano and back out again and round. Now, on the last time, we come in and we do a sharp turn, and then we spiral up there, basically in an anti-clockwise direction, up the spirals of the cone, all the way up to the top, including going through the middle of it. And that means that it's going to be very, very interesting as we roll out. Let's get you the facts and figures on there, because they do tell a story because of the amount of climbing. So the course leading, it is 1/2 kilometre extra to the course leading. That's basically heading out from the pens. We then have 2 lots of Volcano flat, which is a 12.3k circuit. That's 24.6. Out to the Volcano, we climb up to finish at the summit banner at another 15.4 kilometres, which gives us our total distance when we hit the finish should be at 40.5. Should be at 40.5. We then have a warm down of 1.5 kilometres, totaling 42k. Important piece, 266 metres of climbing, and most of that, 200 and so metres of it, all comes at the end on the Volcano. So this is absolutely critical that our riders get this absolutely nailed on the way out from the circuit, and we will see how they do very shortly indeed. It looks like our riders are up and riding, so it looks like they're out and set off. We're just on our way down to join into the circuit proper at the moment. So as the riders head out and along, we're going to go in and join them. So let's see how the riders are going out on circuit, and let's catch up. We're just with Shepherd at the moment. So we're just taking a look down at the moment from out on the circuit here on the Volcano Climb after party. Just keeping an eye on the riders just towards the back of the bunch. Remember, guys, we're aiming on staying together at the moment. And our riders working hard on the way out and around. Looks like Kieran Brown has done it again. He's gone brave. And it looks like out on the mountain bike once again. So see how Kieran keeps on rolling. Remember, bike is going to be critical today. Do you go for a fast bike that is easier to roll in with the bunch, or do you go for the fast bike up the climb and sacrifice the speed on the bunch? So it looks like we're going to have a Beacon at the back. Here he comes. He's just jumping in. Looks like Trevor Crehan just jumping in and out. Tech issues for our red Beacon at the moment. We're going to keep an eye on where he is. Just in with Struan McInnes. Sorry, Struan. Better put my teeth in, or more importantly, get some more Grand Tours coffee in there. And the riders, as you can see, underneath the seat in the tunnel. And it looks like our red just jumping back in once again. So let's dive down into the group here and take a view as these riders as they keep heading on through. Nice big chain on its way along at the moment. And all of our riders just moving nice and smoothly. Remember, they're aiming to sit at about 2 watts per kilo at the moment. And Russ, the bear, our Beacon is in. Now just going to take a little bit of a look through our Zwifters for our red Beacon. Now it should be Trevor Crehan who is the Beacon, so let's jump in with Trevor and let's have a look. Let's see, he's had issues jumping in and out, but here he is, so let's give us a view of our man doing the business for us. Trevor is our Beacon, and Trevor, one of our regular riders on the Chain Gang. And looking super smooth on his way around at the moment. So here he is just sitting in with the back of the group. And pretty much everybody getting off together. So here we go. Just going to take a little bit of a drop in with the riders. And it looks like Rudkin, Wade and Davis all in here. Just in with Rini at the moment. Going to drop across to Craig Ganther. Craig in this group. Kooslugs is in here. Sorry about making your legs hurt on Saturday, mate. Don't worry, I still haven't got back on a bike yet after it. It was brutal after Saturday. We were spinning one of our spin-off rides on Saturday on Stellaton. It was a bit of a beastie ride, that is for sure. And great to see some of the gang on one of the splinter rides. Rich Orrell out on the ride as well. Just keeping a quick check on the group. So just having a check on here. So looks like Mr. Cooper up on the back here. Good to see. Nice jumper there, mate. As Luke Hine just seems to have a little bit of a drop out. George Cooper, one of our regular riders, of course, infamous for his Everesting, as well as the fact that he weighs so little. He's actually skinnier in real life than you can see on our avatar on screen here on Zwift. So Our riders are rolling along nicely at the moment, and it looks like just as we hit this slight climb up. If you look on the top right hand side of your screen, you will see that the map has a little rise on it. There's all of the group together pretty much. That's our beacon, a yellow beacon there, and the rest of the group. They all need to be together at the moment, and then they're going to be heading out and around circuit. The aim is to keep everybody together on the initial roll round. It means that riders who have come straight out of work don't have to do a silly crazy warm-up to stay with it. Just CML Blackford and Mr. Cootie just drifting, push on the pedals. Let's give a little push at the back. Guys, get into those wheels. This is where it's critical. In the chain gang, every time you lose a wheel, you've got to push hard to get back into the wheel. So it's really is key to stay in there. These guys haven't pushed any 3 watts per kilo to get into the back. Looks like Joel Davis just dropping back to help out there. Really good to see the gang working together. We're just going to roll down. Looks like Andy Hawes is back in the group. Got to say a massive thank you to Andy, one of our riders who's been grabbing the t-shirts, the Don't Poke the Bear t-shirt. And Andy looks like he's here, and had to get a smaller size, I do believe. Andy, after all of his summer riding, lost a lot of weight, got super lean. Don't think Andy could ever be mean though, but definitely lean. Mr. Stevenson on the back, so let's see how we roll. Everybody needs to keep it held nicely together. Remember, we run from the back to Russ, so if you're in there, the chances are you're going to get at least a mention and a feature. Charlie Babbitt in here. Charlie looking super smooth and in his traditional yellow and blue jersey. Nice deep rims as well. Let's have a look, see who else is in here. Mr. Fraser's here, Andy Flanders Fraser in this group. Here we go, give it a spin round, and Flanders Fraser, 175 watts, 96 revs per minute, super smooth pedaling, nice high cadence pedal revs there. That's what we're looking for on the way through. Just going to keep a check on these riders. We're going to drop in with Rich. Rich been with us since the start, and Rich looking good as well. Keeping it nice and smooth, 77 revs per minute, and holding in this group. Looks like Mr. Evans is in here as well. Joel Davis is in here. Jimmy Allen, the man who was out in the Stillerton ride, the leader of the Stillerton ride on the Saturday, one of the breakaway rides, the spin-offs from the Donny Chain Gang. Quite a few opportunities to ride with people from the Chain Gang throughout the week. And don't forget, of course, we've got the lists published now for the rides on the run into Christmas. So a quick shout out coming from Russ. You just see the group. If we use the top right hand map, we can just see just a few gaps just starting to open up on the front there. I think the back of the group just about holding together at the moment. The aim is to try and keep everybody together. So just in with Wade, one of our newer riders, and just good to see Abigail Wade joining the group. And Abigail riding, keeping it nice and smooth, 82 revs per minute here, and sitting at nice 1.7, just moving up to 2 watts per kilo. Looks like Mr. Coleman on the back, helping the riders at the back of the group, and that's what to do if you're feeling strong. Jump to the back of the group and help the riders who are working on the climb. So that's it. Coffee's done, which means it's time to look at some more of our riders out on the course now. Coleman is going to be one of our riders to keep an eye on as we come in to the climb. Coleman, one of our regulars on the front, knows the score start at the back here. Dan Coleman just keeping the riders rolling around. Remember, guys, 3 watts per kilo is the aim to hold everybody up. Looks like Daryl's back here as well. Sean Farron's in the group. Looks like Mr. Brooks is in here from Bolsover and District. Lots of Bolsover riders in, including Maddie Smith, one of our riders who's already been the beacon already, the red beacon. And at the moment, I think Maddie is actually riding on the rollers tonight. So well done to Money and being able to ride on the rollers and ride on the way up the climb whilst on Zwift. And quite often riders, when they do have a issue, will drop back to a standard trainer with sensors. It's a good way just to keep rolling around on the ride. And remember, guys, it's all about looking after each other. I want to say a massive thank you to Johnny Lightfoot, Johnny Two Dogs Lightfoot, who will be out on the gang today. Big thank you to him, and the reason for that is that he's donated a turbo trainer to the DONNYCHAINGANG in return for donations. And in fact, the rider that's picked that up, a rider who has, with a lack of events work, gone back into education. So pretty skin. Certainly not in a position where I'm sure he would want to spend his hard-earned dosh to buy a real top quality, top flight turbo. So we managed to get him up and rolling at minimal cost. And a big thank you to Johnny Lightfoot. And that's what the Chain Gang's all about, helping everybody in the cycling community to get a ride, to have a great ride out, and to enjoy yourselves. A couple more announcements for you to remember. Red Beacon duties. We have the new spreadsheet as administered by the Queen of Excel herself. Gail Phillips is on the Facebook page and is taking names for the rota for the Red Beacon. It's all about looking after everybody in that group. And remember, of course, that there is the opportunity to use the Discord channel as well if you want to. And really, it's up to you how you run that Red Beacon duties. If you take it on, then you're more than welcome to use the Discord channel. You can have the party tunes going over it. It's totally up to you. You can be on the G&Ts for all I care, to be brutally honest. It's all about you enjoying it and looking after the riders at the back, and lots of different people doing it in different ways. And great to see so many riders joining in, helping out the community. Don't forget, of course, if you're enjoying the riding, please, guys, we do need you to continue to donate. We need to make sure that the Chain Gang, it's sustainable. Because if it's not sustainable, then basically Russ and I will not be able to afford to keep on doing it. So we do need you to donate. Hit the donate button on the website or on the Facebook page, which takes you through to PayPal. Remember to hit family and friends, because we're all friends here. One big family at the DONNYCHAINGANG. And then, of course, make sure if you do donate, you only give us what you can afford to give. Although Russ and I at the moment are certainly in a situation where there is a minimal amount of work. I think I've had 3 gigs since March instead of 3 a week. It is definitely put on to enable you to enjoy yourselves, guys, and to give you something to look forward to. So really do want to make sure that everybody's out and riding. To do that, we do need your help. So if you do have a few pennies spare, if you don't want to use PayPal, you're not on Facebook, you can't get on the web, get in touch with me, Matt Payne, and there are other ways we can do it as well. And remember, guys, it's one big community, so it's all about keeping together, holding around that yellow beacon as we roll our way in towards the final climb. And you can see the volcano in front of our riders at the moment. And you can see that river of fire reaching up into the sky. And our riders know that they're going to go past it twice. And then the third time they hit it, they're going to go up the slopes. You can just see the road just about on the slopes there where it cuts around the side and basically spirals up. So this time round on lap number 1, as we look down on the nearest 100 riders to our beacon, we're going to be rolling our way around, and we go straight on here at the junction around the side on number 1, and on number 2, number 3 we move up onto the climb. Remember, guys, as Andrew Whitehead is pointing out to everybody, it's all about looking where you are. It's the closest 100 riders, and basically it's 100 riders that are nearest to Russ or backwards from Russ that we're going to focus on, because if you're in front of Russ, it doesn't matter. So straight on we go, down along the side here. Let's jump in with Liam Kellaway, another of our regular riders here. Let's get up in the sky and keep an eye on Liam in his traditional grey and real quick rider. He's certainly a fast rider. Joel Davis. Joel, of course, another of our regular riders in the black. Good to see Joel here, another man who can be in at the kill at the finish, as can many of these riders. Just going to jump in with Heppel. Good to see Mr. Heppel in this group. And Peter Heppel just right along, I think just sitting there in the black and keeping it nice and smooth. 69 revs per minute, so low revs per minute at the moment, taking out a fair amount of watts at the minute. And as you can see, lots of our riders who maybe normally get spat out by people who are far too keen, now absolutely enjoying the fact that they're in with the chain gang. Karl Kaplitsky's in here. You've seen the bear t-shirts. They are there because with the phrases, don't poke the bear. And that's what it's all about. We don't want to see people poking the bear and heading off the front. Now, just jumping in with Olivia Neal at the moment. Olivia, another of our new riders, and just going to take a look at the side, just there in the orange, just pedaling away up here. I think one of our lighter riders by that quick acceleration through the group, and that's generally what happens on those climbs. Could see Gary Licence right up there as well in there. Mr. Sutcliffe rolling round our beacon. Now, I think we've also got Jess Learmouth in the group, so Jess rolling along. Jess, one of the riders who we often see in at the finish, and Jess again rolling around that yellow beacon. And you can see the yellow beacon up over the top. The yellow beacon, our ride leader in with the group. Technical issues for the red beacon today, so it makes it even more important for our riders to stay close together. Now, I think I've just seen Connor Cairns on his way through. Good to see Connor in. We might have to check out whether he's as follically challenged on his avatar as he is in real life. Connor, of course, the chair of the Bolsover district, and is a bit of a Bolsover club run at times out on the group, along with the guys from the Johnson Wheelers. Just going to drop in. Looks like the Riddler's in here from Army CC. Just going to take a little bit of a check to see how Russ is getting on. Tristan from Harrogate's here. You can see Tristan back on the front. Just take a little bit of a look. Looks like Karl Kapinski sat in the group. Jimmy Allen in here. Finley Priest is in here as well. Just trying to get to the yellow beacon, who is a fair way back now from these riders as they've just pushed over the top. So remember, guys, you need to be sat around the bear. It looks like the bear just sitting at the back. It looks like Zoe just joining us. So Zoe Codd out on the chain gang, just moving the way up to the front. And as James West says, time to slow down, guys. The blob has strung out. Just got Zoe just trying to get herself back on to the group at the moment. 3 seconds behind Russ. A number of riders just dropping back to give Zoe a hand in. Zoe, of course, a very fast rider out on the cyclocross scene, and really is pushing on hard here at 4 watts per kilo. Is going to get herself back in to the front. So Zoe now making her way up in towards the group. The Cannonball's back with us. Good to see the Cannonball back in action. Looks as grey as he does in real life there, and nice outfit, mate. So just seeing the Cannonball just at the back of this group. The pressure clearly is on a little bit here. We're just seeing 1 or 2 riders just starting to be distanced off the back of the group. So Mr. Ward just pushing to get back into this group here. Peter Ward. Let's jump in with Peter. So Peter just sitting at the back here, just pushing on. And we've got a group of 4 riders at the moment, just working to close the gap down. The Cannonball in this group. Catley in here. And it looks like Josh Edmondson is just a little off the back according to that. And we'll see how they're going. So here we are. Let's have a little look. Getting back in together. This is what we need to see. The group just starting to come back. Richardson and the Cannonball just clipping into the back. This is quite a big group that's just been distanced. The split is happening just behind Russ, and as you can see, as it goes up on to the climb here, this is where the gaps start to open up if you're not careful. So it looks just behind Bishop. You can see that gap just starting to open up there, and it looks like as we come up over the top, Gareth Mason there just helping to push the group back together again. Gareth is the rider who is the fat cyclist in his avatar. He's a fast cyclist. The F is for fast, not fat, believe me. A very, very quick finisher. and can now hold on over things slightly bigger than a railway bridge, which means that he's actually in with a shout as we go on to some of the hilly rides as well. Just dropping in with Rob Carlin. Come on, Rob, push up, mate. So good to see Rob on the chain gang once again. And Rob just working hard here. Just going to take a little bit of a look behind. Looks like Ian Brooks, the Cannonball, and Dan Coleman off the back of the group. Edmondson doing the same as well by the look of it. We're just going to take a double check on that as they come through. So these are the riders just sitting around and behind us. That's why we always aim on focusing on the way through. Remember, guys, it's all about sitting back. If there are Muppets on the front, let them go do their own Muppet show off the front. They are not going to be part of the chain gang. So you're going to take a quick dive across. And looks like Pritchard just working hard here. You can see behind 6 or 7 riders now starting to feel the pressure as we come around. And good to see Russ having a slightly more enjoyable ride this time around than we had last. As Pritchard now makes his way into that group. Big pack of riders there. We're going to just drop back a touch at the moment. So we keep a look back from these riders. This is the group at the back, just a little bit fractured. There's some seriously hard work going on at the back there from these riders. We'll take a look in amongst them at the moment. Coleman is in here, one of our faster riders. Callaway's in here. Mason's in here as well, and Mason riding well. Take a little bit of a look at the side here at Mason in the orange and black. Let's take an eye on Mr. Whitehead. Whitehead rolling in well here in the blue for the Rock CC. Heppel in the group as well. And just going to keep an eye because I think Coleman sitting just off the back a little bit at the minute. He is just saving his legs. He's definitely one of the quickest riders out there. So as you can see, the group just a little bit fractured. Looks like Alan Parsons sitting on the back of that group. He's got Coleman behind. I think Dan just stretching his legs there. Going to be pulling back on. If we take a look up in front of Alan Parsons, Mr. Ridley, you can see plenty of riders up there. And you just see Coleman there just rolling his way in to them. So let's keep an eye on these riders. We have a group of 6 riders just starting to be distanced here. Heppel, Whitehead, looks like Alan Parsons in there as Heppel's just, I think, lost the group there. So Heppel with what looks to be a power drop out at the moment, and it may well be that Alan Parsons might be the man who's choosing to be the red beacon as Richardson just trying to move up. So Richardson just on the way back. Now it's closing in on Alan Parsons. So it looks like Alan is likely to be our de facto red beacon. Thank you very much, Alan. And we're going to just take a quick check of Alan on the back. A very quick rider in his own right, and always somebody prepared to join in with everybody else. Looks like a number of riders just starting to lose the rest of the group as Steve Hilbert is in there. Mason's in this group as well. Looks like John Wild from Vellaview just up in front. And there are a number of riders having a what looks to be a dropout. Key to this is going to be, guys, you need to be aiming to sit at around about the 2.5 watts per kilo mark. If you get a dropout, sit at 2.5 watts per kilo. You will find you will drop in around about the right place. Don't panic, Captain Mannering. That's absolutely critical. Now, just keeping an eye. Moss is in there 2.5, just getting caught there by Alan Parsons. This group working the way in and along at the moment. So this group well and truly in the middle, and as we take a look on the camera, the little island out in the middle. So it looks like James Allen just going to be dropping back. He's lost a few other riders as well. Looks like Wade just working her way back in with the riders here. Connor Cairns is definitely in with this group somewhere. I'm just going to take an eye on Connor. Let's check out Connor's avatar. It's not very realistic, Connor. It's got hair, mate. We know that you are one of our most aerodynamically, follically challenged riders out there. And you do need to give it a little bit of a push here, Connor, if you're watching in real time. So, Connor, along with Abigail, and it's going to be Craig Moss at the moment, just trying to push on here. In Davenport, a little bit further back, being dropped here. Looks like John Wild has got the same issue. So John Wild, a very quick rider indeed. A little bit further back, Davenport currently at 11 seconds. He's definitely got a power drop out of 0 watts per kilo, because we know he's more than capable of that. Looks like Steve Hilbert's going to be pushing to go up and through. Here he comes in the yellow, green. Pick a colour, Matt. In the green, it's Steve Hilbert on his way up and past John Wild, and then it's going to be Mason just in front. Looks like they're going to be motoring up to the back of this group. So one or two riders getting a very lonely ride, and it looks to me like it is well and truly strung out. So Russ is a bit further up the front, and we're going to see if they're going to get together. Let's have a look at Andy up here. So it looks like there's a little bit of fun going on for a number of our riders. You can just see Sam Emsley, Johnny Wilkins up here, Zoe Codd, Rick Van der Gate, distance. Joe Jarvis is back in with us. Gately's in here as well. All these riders in this bunch currently just sat behind Russ. The aim is to overload the systems, guys. Because see Jess is here. Jess, of course, one of our very fast female riders, and a rider who is absolutely flying, and it looks like everybody just starting to come back together. So please, guys, time to regroup. We do have one or two riders still off the back, so the aim is to regroup. If you do get distance, see if you can come back as close to yellow. It looks like a pretty close group at the moment. There are a few off the back at the minute. So please, guys, just bear in mind there's been a number of tech dropouts for people. Hold your nerve. Sit with the yellow beacon. We're going to see the back of the group coming up to the yellow beacon to bring it through, as Gareth Mason seems to be breaking the tech non-stop at the moment. Maybe it's the intense power being channeled through the cranks. Now let's have a little look. Darren Billings is in here. Darren, another of our fast riders, sat on the Zwift concept bike, the Tron bike, and just looking to hold the power. So currently making his way up on this straight. Just seen Irwin not too far away here. Burke's in this group, like me, sitting around the right place. Looks like a number of riders. Looks like Mr. Wise of MI Racing just losing it. Mr. Wise, if you're on live, you need to be pushing it up a little bit more. Just currently sitting at 2.8, so Wise needs to push on a little bit. Looks to me like Jimmy Allen. Jimmy, you need to be up about half a watt per kilo, about 3.5. I think you'll get yourself back in. The group's on the back, try and bridge across, guys. Kev Dawson, the other Kev Dawson. We have a multitude of Kev Dawsons, but this is the Kev Dawson, just working his way to a bridge back up and across. Andy, another of our riders who regularly listens in live. Andy, you need to be up a little bit of power, mate, to get yourself back in here. Mr. Osman, Steve Hilbert, keep ticking those numbers out, mate. You're just going to make your way back in. Rob Carling in this group, just trying to close that gap down. Looks like John Wild back in the game as well, pushing on here. So Wild, you can see here, is going to motor his way through. So Rob Carling looks like Mr. Moss is here. Let's have a quick check on Mossy. It's Craig Moss on his way through. So Craig working to get that gap back. We're just going to jump in with Russ, who is our beacon. Just see how far up we are with Russ. So guys, you need to be in and around our yellow beacon. He should be mobbed with riders. Let's jump up into the sky. And you can see there's still a few groups off the front, please guys. Try and grab yourselves back towards the yellow beacon. It's one of the few things everybody will be able to see. A reminder guys, ignore the front. Anybody pushing off the front, ignore them. Let them go. As the saying goes, they're dead to us on the DCG. Their avatars will be staked and burnt. So at the moment in with Russ. Russ rolling at what is shown as 19.2k, 30 minutes of riding done. And Russ at the moment right in the middle of what is a big pack of riders. Remember guys, you need to be sitting around about Russ if we're going to hold the group together. Let's get up in the sky and take a quick spin around. This is all about mobbing the yellow. Get as close as you can to the yellow and things all stay together. A quick reminder, no red beacon at the moment. And it's absolutely critical, guys, that you try and stay together because we don't have a red beacon as our back marker. Tech issues tonight mean our red beacon out of action. So the yellow beacon just going underneath the waterfall now. If you are listening live, it's about 8 seconds ago. So through we go, diving down into the bottom. At least one rider heading off in the wrong direction. Hopefully they'll soon get spat back into the group. Looks like Mr. Gilmore sitting alongside the beacon here as well, one of our young riders. Mr. Donahue in this group as well. Going to be in the green, no doubt. And that's a Zwift green, it is indeed. So as we go up all of this group in and around, looks like Wayne Randall is in here. Not that Wayne Randall, the other Wayne Randall, his body double. Altaf Hussein in the group. Looks like Altaf riding nice and strongly as well. Stringing there Wallace, Evans, Caldwell, Mason. So the guys at the back going to be pulling together. And nice big pack here. It's sitting nice and smoothly. So let's take a little bit of a look. We're going to roll our way back towards the back of the group. You can see at the moment, big pack of riders here. So just going past Rashid, McNamara, Pillsworth. So it looks like most people behind the beacon at the moment, which is exactly what we want. You see we're just rolling through everybody here. Looks like Dawson in this group, Hemstock, and there's a big old pack at the back here. Just going to jump in with Mr. Farron here and just take a look back from Farron. So it looks like Sean, potentially the riders at the back. Remember guys, you do need to hold it all together. Front please guys, you need to hold on because we have a huge pack of riders having tech issues. It's looking pretty good at the moment. Russ, I think, just holding his nerve at the moment. Bruce from the Syndicate is here. Russ is going to be dropping back. He's just going to try and just pull together the last few riders who've been playing silly Watsits, along with those riders who've had tech issues. Not everybody off the front has been willfully riding off the front. This has been a day of technical issues, that is for sure. Just in with Sean, who is steadily riding here. Farron just making his way up into that group. And this is why it's critical to keep the pace consistent, guys, because if we do get tech issues, it allows everybody to come back in. You don't want to be the rider with the tech issue who gets spat out of the back because of a tech issue. Now, Riddler sitting up on the back. It's looking pretty smooth at the moment. I think Russ could well be very close to the front of the group. We're going to go take a little bit of a check of how Russ is doing. Certainly most of this group on the front looks pretty much like they are all together. Russ is here in this group. Remember guys, it is all about holding that group together. So just hold the pace guys, hold that pace together. Just sitting in with Tristan from Harrogate. Tristan, a regular rider on the chain gang, and it is all about holding that pace. Hold your nerve, guys. Stay with the bear. So just keeping an eye on this. It is all about holding with the bear. Looks like Archibald Williams, Craig Hull, the Johnson Wheelers, Ben Worth, Josh Edmondson, all rolling around that group. Not too far from our bear. The bear is just at the back of that group, so the pack needs to slow down a little. There is a group off the back. We're going to drop our way back from there. Let's see if we have a group in distance. We'll work our way back from the bear backwards. So at the moment that is the main group there. We're going to just have a little roll back from Olivia Neal in a minute. So Olivia, come on Olivia, push it into the back of that group. You want to stay on there. So just taking a quick jump in with Alan Parsons. This gives us a little bit of a chance to work our way back. It looks like Alan is just inside the volcano. He is looking to be the man who's rolling around the back. Looks like Mike Salkald at the back there as well. Rich Orrell, Taylor's in there. Carlin's at 16 seconds. Looks like Rich Orrell just up in front. As you can see, the companion app playing very interesting things at the minute. And that's quite simply because with the red beacon out of action due to tech issues, making things a little bit entertaining. Just seen that Neil Mansfield's in the group. Crosscast Neil, who is the one of my joint hosts, the host of the Crosscast podcast. We've been minimalistic in our Crosscast, but the entire Crosscast presenters are actually on the chain gang. Me on the mic, Bruce and Neil both riding in the bunch at the moment. Great to see all the guys in there. Looks like Mr. Noble in this group, Mr. Hawkins in there. Let's just take a look and see how Alan's getting on. He's just heading out towards the bridge. Taylor just in front. And looks like the back of that pack just starting to head down in towards complete lap number 2. And it looks like Mike Salkeld could be the one of the last riders out actually on the course. Mr. Finney's dropping down just off the back of the pack. So here we go, our riders a little bit further up, sitting in with this group. Looks like Edmondson just sitting near the back, Archibald's near the back of that group of 100 riders. You just see, taking a look back, Archibald just sitting on the back here, just keeping an eye on Dobson. Davis is in here, Brooks is in here, looks like Craig Genther's in here, Ted's in here, Brooks is in this group, Johnson's in here as well. Finley Priest trying to do 5 watts per kilo, can't catch up at the moment. I think he's well and truly distanced one of the riders who's had to take dropouts. So just keeping our eyes on the group at the minute. So Neil from the Crosscast is in here, just keeping an eye on the pace and see how Neil is doing. Looks like Neil might well be in a Christmas jumper as well. So Neil sat in here. Nice sideburns, mate. Looking good. So Neil, 140 beats per minute, 350 watts, 80 revs per minute. So Crosscast Neil, alongside Bruce from the Cyclocross Syndicate, both of course host with me on the Crosscast Cycling Podcast, the Cyclocross Podcast, and we're just going to take a little bit of a run through the group and just see how people are going. Looks like Mr. West are hanging around, Bruce as well, Gilmore's in here, Kettering's in here, Barry Kipling's on a good ride here, John Wild in here as well, Sam Emsley, Chappell's in here, Mr. Noble on the go, Leo Mazzoni's in this same group as well. Finley Priest currently 20 seconds down, that's a big ask for Finley to get back into the back of this group. As we try and take a look, looking for that green and black Pinarello dogma of Russ. So here we go. Russ in there just alongside Altaf Hussein. Dowtree's in there. Thornley's in there as well. Was in there. Watson as well. Alongside Mr. Dobson, sitting nice and smooth. The guys working well, and it looks to me like this is the very front of the group, all around Russ here. We've got riders stretched out behind, that is for sure. We've got riders about well over a minute and a half behind. However, definitely a closer pack at this stage than we've had for some while. Thank you, everybody. So looks like a number of riders losing everybody as we drop in to the tunnel. So Russ just holding the pace. Yeah, just a quick reminder, guys. We do have plenty of under 18 riders out on the ride, and also who watch on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook page. It's a testament to how good everybody is that we've reached 1,300 people on the Facebook page, and the first person who's been banned has been banned this week. And that is some going. Most groups manage to do that in the first few weeks, first few days. We've had the Facebook page rolling since spring. And we've only just reached a stage where the first person has managed to get themselves a ban. So good going, guys. Please remember, though, we do have riders who are under 18 on the Chain Gang, as well as on the Facebook page, as well as on the viewers on the YouTube channel. A quick reminder, whilst the guys are playing hide and seek on bikes, as Mr. Richardson has said, what we are aiming to do is give everybody a good ride out. At the moment today, it's definitely a bit of an entertaining hide and seek bikes. Russ looks like he's rolling his way up into that pack again. And this is one of the advantages. If you're running the live feed, although it is about 5 to 8 seconds behind where you really are, if you get a dropout, if you watch the live feed, guys, you will be able to see roughly where you are in that group, and whether you're on the front or whether you're on the back or whether you're in the pack or whether you're around that yellow beacon. And that's what happens when you watch the live feed simultaneously with the non-live run-of-the-mill Swift with 0 people on it, because you're having a bit of a mystery tour, as John Garfer is. So riders out from the tunnels. I think we're going to get another little regroup here. So this is all about trying to get themselves back together again. So Russ currently sitting at 29.7 kilometers done. It's like Mike Kelly's worth in here. It's browsing here. Kelly's in here. Just rolling around with Russ at the minute. The bear just going to just try and pull the group back together again. So don't forget, guys, we await the indication from Russ when it is time to move. That's not as yet. We're just waiting for everybody to regroup after what has been some seriously tech issues. And the go has gone. So it looks like there has been a little bit of a regroup, but Russ has put the hammer down, and we're just going to take a look back from Russ. I think there's been a acceptance. It's a bit all over the place there. So good luck everybody with their tech on the way through. We've been out of the tunnels a while, and a big kick there. And Russ going to let the groups now decide, because the fastest way now, we're not going to be holding it together if people can't see each other. So Russ making the decision to get it gone and get it sent. And still riders getting down, drop out. So do the best you can, guys. It's a bit like when you've been out in the got distance and you can't see anything at the back. Now just see the pressure is on the group at the moment. Just keeping an eye on what's happening. Let's get up in the sky now. This is the front of the group. Time to find a group, guys. It is all about grab a group, find people riding at your pace, get yourselves into the climb, and run your way up on to the top. And this group certainly contains pretty much most of the favourites. The fast lads will, and women, fast men and women will get themselves to the front. And looks like Story's up in this group, as we would expect. And Becky Story, one of our really fast riders, almost guaranteed to be in with the front group pretty much every ride. And Story sitting here super smooth, super fast at the moment, 95 revs per minute, and at the moment it is Story on the front again. One of our lighter riders gets the advantage of good watts per kilo coming up. The bigger riders have the advantage on the downhill and on the flats here. Story sitting in this group, and everybody are really starting to put the pressure on the front here. Sitting in this group, not doing too much work. And Kieran Brown sat on the mountain bike, going to be pushing out some serious watts per kilo to stay with this group. Going to get a really good workout. We're keeping an eye on these riders. We come up onto this little drag. We're going to drop down. Riders are well spread out. Remember, we're going up onto the top of that volcano that's going to be appearing very soon in front of the riders. So across we go. We're moving our way around the side. It starts to rain as if it wasn't bad enough already. And visibility bad enough that people aren't seeing each other. It is now just starting to rain out here. Proper cyclocross weather for Bruce and Neil, as Mr. Winfield on here, Kieran Brown in here, Liam Calloway, Joe Davis in here, Burke's in here. Looks like McNamara in this group as well. Watson's in here. Now we're going to be taking a turn in. We can't even go up into the air with the camera up on the top there, and that's quite simply because the Helicopter's not going to work up there. It's not going to see it through the clouds. As we take a little bit of a look back, you see everybody chasing behind. Looks like Mr. Wild John Wells made this in the group here. Just taking a look back at the moment. There's a leading group now clear. You can see on the map top right hand side of the screen that we have riders chasing all the way down the climb. The descent behind, sorry, so it looks to me like everybody just rolling around now. A little bit further back, plenty of riders are just starting to get themselves regrouped. Meanwhile, up on the front, looks like Kieran Brown has gone off the front on the mountain bike. So Kieran doing the business on the mountain bike, and it looks like Leon is on his way through. So Kieran Brown, a man who's taken some serious victories on the mountain bike and on the cross bike, is going well at the moment here. He's a class act. Rise for the Sherwood Pines. Nice one, Kieran. It's nothing like really showing up those riders who think they could do it when you go out on a mountain bike and still manage to hold that group. Let's see whether he can hold it as we go up onto the climb now. You can see the map right hand side at the moment. You'll see we're going to be taking the right hand turn here in with Leon at the moment. Sat in with this group. This is where things are going to get interesting, because all of a sudden it's going to start going uphill and we're going to be on there, and it is really nasty weather at the moment. So our riders come in, they take that right hand turn. We're on to the first part of the climb, and this is the first kick upwards. This is where things are going to get fun, and this is where the pressure really starts to come on. Just seeing Russ at about 4 watts per kilo, just taking the pressure off. Buttley's really kicking hard here, 6 watts per kilo from Buttley at the moment, but they're right behind him here. Everybody queuing up to get on the wheels. So into the inside of the Volcano we go. Our riders are now on their first part of the ascent, complete up that first big bump, that first section of the climb up. This is a big old group here who are all sitting together. They just have a little bit of pressure on the front, but big group, a fair size pack still holding here. Wild's in here, Story in here, Mazzoni's in here, Russ in here as well. Looks like James Allen's in here, Riddler's in here, Randall's in here, Kettringham's in the group, Collie in this group as well. Let's have a little look. Looks like Mason's made this as well. The fat cyclist. Should be fast cyclist in there. Looks like Hepton's in this group. Just taking a look at Mason sitting there in the grey. He's got the lightweight bike of the lightest setup on Zwift. Now is the Tarmac Pro with the Mellensteins, and at the moment the fat cyclist are now pushing on to the front on that lightweight kit. He's got the power to hold them on the flats. He's using the bike to give him some help on the way up the climb. Dobson now moving up towards the front. Clark going up towards the front. Everybody queuing up to have a go here to push on as they make their way around the side. This is our leading group. Behind there are plenty of people trying to close the gap down, but this is where the winners, both the men's and the women's riders, are going to come from, because we have Becky Story in this group as well. So Becky likely to take this. She can hold the group, doesn't blow it. It's possible to go backwards in a big way as you come off here. So now we're on to a reverse of the way we've normally come through here, as Mazzoni goes on the front, the Crimson Performance rider just sitting on there as we come across the bridge over the lava flow on the side of the mountain. We'll take a zoom out on the map. This is where things are going to get really interesting. So at the moment, working our way around the outside of the mountain. Just take a look from the side. We're going to dive into the tunnels, back into the volcano, come around the bottom, and then we're going to come around towards the left turn. Now normally we drop down the side of the face of the volcano. We're going to turn left up on to the climb. So let's follow the riders into the volcano here. So Rich Crawley moving up to the front there. Looks like Hill in here from Crimson. The Crimson have come mob-handed in here. Gilmore's in touch as well. Is Gilmore going to do it today? He could be the man. We're just going to jump in with Hill at the moment. Another Crimson Rider sitting in this group, waiting for the next steep section. It really is kick, rest, kick, rest. But this is where it's all going to start happening very, very shortly. We're going to come out from the Volcano. You can see just on this little drag, Jimmy Allen just coming to the front, putting the pressure on. And we're coming out from the Volcano. Our drone just pushing its way out through the outsides. Over the next lava flow we go. We're going to come around, and there's a slight drop here. This is where this group needs to pay attention. They don't want to give too much impetus to the bigger riders who will carry that onto the climb. You can just see there's an arch to the right hand side of the riders with a break in it. We're going to take the left hand turn and go up there. You can see it coming up onto the map now. So round to the left hand turn, and we're on to the climb up towards the top of the Volcano. The Volcano climb time is coming up. It's going to start now as we go over and past that beacon. Russ moving up on to the front at the moment. We're just going to take an eye on him. It is Russ the bear. Just apologies having to drop back through that group. So jumping back into the leading group here, Russ was in that group. Apologies, Russ, just unable to track through with him. And as you can see, that is his legs are done, I think. Meanwhile, Gilmore up near the front there. He's working hard. We're going to try and get ourselves right up to the front. And it looks like it's Crawley who's gone on the offensive here. So Ryan Crawley on the front of the group at the moment, working hard, currently sitting at 4.6 watts per kilo, and we're going to just take a little bit of a look back here. They're coming for him, no Foreman at the moment leading the charge, but look at this, Clark is on the heels here as well. John Wild, looks like Daltrey's here, Gilmore's in here, Winfield's in here. Everybody sitting alongside, just using that draft. Good timing, getting the draft in there, Crawley, just so that he can jump on to the back of the group. It's still 30 kph up this 5% slope at the moment. Now there are riders dotted all the way around. This is where it gets interesting. On the map it will show you 100 riders, but it will be the 100 riders nearest if it was squished. So if someone was to put the hand on top of the Volcano and dropping it right the way down, squishing it down, that is exactly what it's going to be like now. Up on the front of this group, just going to take a look. I think it is going to be Clark, Hepton, Winfield, Wild, Daltrey, and they're just starting to leave the beacon behind. You can see it there at the back there. As we're on to the KOM, we're just rolling our way up this climb at the moment. We're in with Winfield. Is it going to be Winfield's day today? Clark pushing on though. He's keeping those watts really high at the moment. And as you can see, we're about to go diving into the tunnel. So let's drop down in with that group. Here we go. Down inside the Volcano we go. And you can see the multiple layers of this Volcano as we zoom our way in and around. And at the moment, our riders sat in here. Clark chasing Winfield. Winfield just keeping the pressure on. Clark rolls onto his wheel. Wild comes in alongside. Hepton does the same. Foreman goes through onto the front here. Everybody is hammering this to try and stay with this leading group of riders. And as you can see, Gilmore in here, Winfield in here. It is the lightweights who are in action. Clark is in here. Winfield gets putting some pressure on those pedals. It's Wild at the moment from Velo Viewer, the guys who provide us with those fantastic graphics. Sat in here working at the front with this leading group. Winfield now back up. And Russ just trying to close that gap down. He's currently at 9 seconds. You can see him just behind on the beacon there. Let's try and drop away from the guys here and get outside, give you an indication of just how steep this is. It's 5% at the moment, but remember this volcano, it changes gradient all the way up. It's very difficult to get into a rhythm. Winfield chasing Clark at the moment, and it's Clark who's got the watts per kilo being kicked out at the moment. You can see everybody's chasing him, but that gap is opening out, and this is Clark who is starting to stretch it. And what's happening behind? Well, you can see behind him that the riders are starting to feel the pace, and it looks to me like it is going to be Hepton and Burke who are starting to be distanced. Crawley has gone. Mazzoni's currently at 9 seconds. O'Neill at 13. Colley at 13. Mason's currently at 14 seconds, but this is the front group now. They are absolutely motoring on the way up and round. We've got basically a full spiral to do yet. Out onto the boardwalk we go. And this group is sitting together. We're watching to see who's going to put the next attack in. Clark holding 6.2 watts per kilo on the front. And these riders know it's just easing off slightly. 3% now, 4%. And the riders back on to the boardwalk on the outside of this volcano. They're making the way around the outside. Not long before they're only going to have one full revolution to do. We're in with Clark, who's holding the front. It's time to put some bets on who's going to take this. The gap is opening behind. You can see one or two riders just struggling with the continuous pressure of Clark, who has stretched this out, but he's not snapped the elastic to everybody else, not by any stretch of the imagination. And a little bit of a regroup here. Now, looks like Russ's group is at 21 seconds. But this is the leaders at the moment on the road, on the climb up. Who is going to take this? Foreman once again comes up on to the front, and Foreman it is now, who's sitting on the front here. So can Tom Foreman lead this out all the way up now? He's got the pedals engaged. Winfield, though, puts in a big attack here. You can see in the blue, he's gone for it. 9.8 watts per kilo from Winfield. Gilmore is going after him. So let's jump in with Gilmore. Gilmore is here in the blue and black. The youngster is trying to close down Winfield. Winfield went hard behind. Wild is working hard to close the gap as well. Clark is as well. There is absolutely frantic here. Winfield has the front. Can they close it down? Wild is coming hard, but Winfield is going to get this. It's going to be Winfield. Oh, it's so tight. Winfield gets it from Wild. Then Gilmore, followed then by Clark, Daltrey. Foreman comes through. Hepton, Burke and Crawley. Crawley just coming up. He's going to go round Burke as he just come in to the summit here. Behind him then it's going to be Hill who's going to come up. The group behind are working hard. Colley is here. Colley has company though. He's got the bear. Russ is there. It comes up really quick as we've seen. You've got to be in the right place at the right time. Colley is holding it at the moment. Can Colley hold it to the top? They can see the banner in front of them. They need to be motoring now. A great ride and a great sprint in to the finish. But it looks like Russ, just rolls him on the line there. So Russ goes through with Colley. Then it's going to be Mason and O'Neill. It looks like Butley's working his way up as well. Just going to keep our eyes on these riders up and round. Riddler, Gilmore, through, just going to drop back to Kettering. So Kettering goes in through the line just ahead of Joel Davis, and then it's going to be our female rider. The fastest female today is going to be Story, who's going to make her way up towards the line here. So Story comes through. Great riding by Story to come through in and underneath the gantry just ahead of Coyle and Hind. I think it's going to be Archibald behind, who's just coming through. Then it's going to be Stringer, followed by Jess Learmouth. Learmouth's going to be the second female rider in and across the line there. So we're just going to take a look behind. And Linley, I think, just sprinting in ahead of West. It's going to be Joel Davis and Kieran Brown on his way up there. Big train in front of Kieran. Can't cover everybody. Apologies, it's just really tricky course for us. Looks like Crosscast Neil on his way in towards the line there. So good riding by Neil from the Crosscast to come in and through the line, kicking out 4.4 watts per kilo. So we're just going to try and get across to our next riders on the way up the climb. And it looks like George Cooper just coming through with Archibald Moore, Winston as well. Just going to cut across to Leo Massoni, who's just on his way down. We're just going to try and pick the ones on the way up. So Arini just coming up and through. Proven in, and just going to steadily work our way, hopefully through the riders as they come through. Try and pick out one or two. Hopefully we'll get you if you're out and on the climb. So Craig Herring just going in and through the line. It's going to be... Envet, then it's going to be Goddard Ellis. So it looks like Dickinson working his way up there as well, just with Caldwell who's come through the line. Just keeping an eye. Koos makes his way in as well. Going to be ahead of Parry, who's just out on the side of the course here. So Taylor goes through just in front, behind him, and then let's have a look. I think it's going to be Rashid and Priest in this group, big group here of riders, just in with Priest at the moment. Way totally disorientating everybody by diving the drone cram and crashing it through. Mike Killingsworth just coming in through the line ahead of Chris from the Alliance squad, and Brooks following through, then Charlie Babbitt, Abbott, Williams, Catley and Wallace just on the way towards line. It's going to be Altaf Hussein and Gooders on the way through. Looks like a real chase to the line. Knight comes through, Tom Knight comes through, Mason, Barry Kipling on his way in and through the line as well. Going to try and drop down a little bit here down the slope. So just watching Flanders Fraser, who's just making his way into the line here. Easier said than done of finding everybody on their way up, and currently just with Garford, who is on his way around the slope. And just jump in with Bennett, who's climbing well at the moment. We're just going to keep trying pick out the riders who are on the way up, not on the way down. Easier said than done, it has to be said. So here we go, just with John Finney. A frantic run back there. Finney of the Stilton on his way in to the line on that big climb up to the finish ahead of Ward and Gardner. Donohue's just behind here. Big kick from Donohue at 5.9 watts per kilo. Hayward just chasing Sonia Inslee here. So Sonia on her way in towards the lines. Got company though behind here in the shape of Hayward just behind. Ted's on his way as well. Good to see Mr. Edwards on his way. So Edwards nicely up on to the climb. You can see big views behind, but Ted in his fantastic Christmas jumper just makes his way into the line just ahead of Steve Hilbert. And then I think it's going to be Andy Hawes in this group as well. Horsey working well with Pritchard in the black there. And looks like Pritchard just pushing on towards the line, as well as Haston Coleman going through just in front. It's going to be Mason just behind Andy there. And drop into Colin Bell, Beefy from Cycleways, and good to see Beefy out. Having a good ride today, and again, plenty of lightweight kit for Colin. Being chased, I think, by Carl Johnson. Good to see Carl clearly on a good ride here today. And Carl's coming hard here. Is he going to get him? Carl's going to take this. So Carl just comes in and through, and Carl comes through to take that as he goes through the gantry there. So Carl just ahead of Colin. And then it is going to be Drummond, another of our regular riders on his way up to the top behind him. I think it's going to be Wilkinson, aka Darth Vader. So Vader just on his way up the climb. You can see just how steep this is. And we take a little bit of a spin round. Come on, mate. Time to give it a little bit of a kick up towards the top. So Vader with a little bit of a gap. And I think it's going to be Rudkin who's trying to close that gap behind him. So up comes Wilkinson, and through the line goes Wilkinson. Behind then it's going to be Nick Rudkin. Rudkin out on the climb here. Wilkins got Hemstock behind him. And as you can see just how steep this is, 10% slope as you start to see the riders starting to come back down in the distance. Carl Johnson just dropping back down on the warm down. So Nick Rudkin's going to be our next rider into the line. Just see the gantry coming up into shot with the Volcano in the background. It's going to be Hemstock immediately behind. So Hemstock's going to come through behind him. And good riding there by Hemstock. Is going to come through behind. Then it's going to be Langmead, our next rider up on the climb. It's got Morris, and then I think it's going to be Zoe Codd behind. So Zoe now on the climb, last few meters. Big kick, Zoe. Time for that last sprint in to the finish, kicking out 4.4 watts per kilo at the moment. Got about 3 seconds, I think, on Haywood. On the way to the line, Swift's at 15 seconds. So Zoe Codd, our next rider in. Kicking across to Haywood here. So Haywood's our next rider, just coming up onto the top of the plateau, going to come underneath the gantry. Haywood comes through, then it's going to be Mark Swift. Swift with a couple of riders behind him, and he's on this really steep 10% section here. And looks to me like Joe Jarvis is coming very strongly here in towards the finish. So Joe is going to come past Mark at the moment on this really steep 10% section. So Joe Jarvis, then Mark Swift, then Sean Ferrin, Gary Licence on the way through. And at the moment, as they're pushing up here, it is going to be Joe Jarvis who's going to take this from this little group here, and then it's going to be Swift behind. So Swift coming in next. So Mark Swift comes through, and then it's going to be Ferrin and Licence. So Sean Ferrin comes in through the line, and I think it's going to be Simmons, the next rider on the climb here, and Gary Licence behind. So Simmons just in front of Licence. Licence is pushing hard on his way up here. So in to the line there you go. It's going to be Simmons, our next rider, in and across the line. So Dave Simmons comes in and through. Gary Licence just behind him. Licence comes in and across. I think Davis is going to be our next rider. So Owen Davis here in the black. Anyway, massive thank you to Swift and of course Alienware for keeping the tech rolling on the way through. They come through just ahead of David Hopkinson. Hopkinson, our next rider, and again David on this really steep section, 4.1 watts per kilo, as he's continuing to push up towards the top, just in front of Day at the moment. So continuing to push there. So Hopkinson pushing hard as he comes in towards the line. Then it's going to be Day behind here. Day on the climb. You can see Cootie not all that far behind from Chefrek. Bolt's not all that far behind either. These are riders on this big climb up here in Watopia on the Zwift platform, coming in to finish the Volcano after party here on the DONNYCHAINGANG on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne, on the mic and the commentary, and of course Russ R. Beacon out on the course, the Yellow Beacon, the bear himself, multi-time national champion, holding the ride together in what were difficult circumstances. A massive thank you to everybody who has helped it stay together. Is Martin Bob with a new strip for Martin, usually the orange, white and black. Today it's the yellow and black stripes for Martin on his way up to Wars Line, just ahead of Rob Carling, I think, and Darren Billings. So through goes Bolt as we drop across to the dynamic duo of Rob Carling and Darren Billings. Not quite holding hands out on the course, but definitely doing some serious support for each other. I'm sure that'll all disappear the moment we get to the gantry in sight, because I know they're both competitive souls, and let's see who is going to take this at the moment. Carling just starting to squeeze on the pedals, 3.2 watts per kilo. He's opening up a little bit of a gap. Come on, Darren. Time to kick back. It's sprintable distance from this point. The gantry is going to appear. Here it comes up over the top. You can just see it in the distance. Rob Carling on the front at the moment, 3.5 watts per kilo. But Billings is pushing hard. You can see that gantry coming. Billings is behind. He's at 3.7. Billings in the grey and black. Just in front is Carling. Carling's responded to this at 4.4. Who he's going to take? This is going to be close. But look at this. Carling's putting in a big sprint. He's up to nearly 8 watts, 9 watts per kilo. 9.3 watts per kilo we saw there from Rob. And Rob is going to take it. He comes through there just ahead of Darren Billings, who comes through behind him. We're going to drop back a little bit because we're looking for Mr. Ridley. This is Alan Parsons. Parsons doing a job at the back, sweeping riders up. Looks like Taylor and Clark with him. Looks like Shepherd not too far away as well. So good riding by Alan Parsons. Alan out of the saddle here. He's going to see that gantry coming. So can Taylor from Chesterfield. And Taylor just squeezing those pedals. So Alec Taylor is going to be the rider who's going to come through just in front. So it's going to be Taylor. But a response here from Parsons. Parsons isn't having that. So it's Parsons who gets it as he comes through the line. Then it's Taylor behind him. Great riding by Taylor and Parsons as they come in and through. And drop back to Mr. Clark here, Andy Clark from the Army Cycling team here. Out of the saddle, 50 revs per minute, 144 beats per minute. And good riding, and Taylor and really coming through very close together, just in front of Clark. Clark chasing all the way to the top. Which means we're going to drop down to catch up with Sam Shepherd. Sam up on to the climb now, heading up towards the clouds. So Sam up and above the clouds, 170, 780 watts on his way over those steeper sections. Not too far to go now for Sam. He's got about half a revolution of the mountain to do. As you can see, as we look down the vertiginous slopes here, down the lava flows down to the bottom, you can see the layers of the cone that is this mountain, this volcano out in Watopia. It's been home to the DONNYCHAINGANG in what were very tricky circumstances with the technical issues riders were having. Well done to everybody who managed to hold that together. Don't forget, if you enjoyed yourselves, get yourselves on to the next 2 rides in the run up to Christmas. Please remember, guys, to hit the donate button. If you can spare a few quid, it all goes towards Russ and I being able to put the Chain Gang on all the way through to the end of the year. And then we're going to be looking at what we're going to do for 2021. Hopefully a bit of a different year. So please, guys, remember, get on there, hit the friends and family button. Make sure that we're not paying too much in fees. We're all friends, and we definitely consider the DONNYCHAINGANG as being family. As we watch Sam now on to this steepening section as the gradient increases up to 10%. Sam now on that final kick into the finish. I'll say a massive thank you. The guys on the bottom of your screen, they are all the guys who support you as riders on the Chain Gang. They are the guys who give us discount codes for you to be able to get big discounts. Go onto the Facebook page. Make sure you join that. If you're on Facebook, make sure, of course, that you tell your friends and make sure you remind them of the plan, the game plan of the Chain Gang. And you can see tonight some very, very fast times up the Volcano today. And plenty of riders getting personal bests. So a big thank you to everybody who's helped us out. And don't forget, of course, get on to donate. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Great to see so many riders out on the DONNYCHAINGANG. So Sam Shepherd comes in and through over the line with just his warm down left to do. All that remains is for me to say a massive thank you, everybody, for riding. A massive thank you to everybody who's supported us, who's helped us. It's been a bit of a mad night with the tech, it has to be said, but well done to everybody for getting it all back together, from myself, Matt Payne, and from Russ Downing. We'll see you on Thursday on the next DONNYCHAINGANG.